Hey all, my name is Paul Borosky and I am the owner of Quality Business Plan. And what I'd like to do today is to show you all how to customize my basic profit and loss / cash budget template to use in a beauty supply business plan. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this little handy dandy PowerPoint presentation that I've got prepared for you all. But before we go any further, let me tell you a little bit about me, then we'll talk about your needs for a profit and loss statement for your beauty supply company. I am a professional writer, a professional business plan writer, so if y'all need some help writing a plan, pick up the phone, give me a call, love to help. Also, I am an adjunct professor and subject matter expert in business and finance. So if y'all need some customized financial models, financial projections, again, do the same trick. Pick up the phone, give me a call, love to help. All right, so without further ado, let's move on. So in order to customize a projection template, specifically my profit and loss statement or the cash budget template, you actually have to have that template in your possession. In order to get that template in your possession, just simply go to my website, qualitybusinessplan.com/financial projection template, and then put a number 2 at the end. Once you get there, scroll down to where it says downloadable basic P&L and cash budget template, and then just click on the basic P&L cash budget template, and it'll take you to a payment page. Hit me up for a little bit of money. And once you do that, you are going to be able to download a template that looks like this. What the end objective or the end product when you get this is going to be a profit and loss statement, which is right here. And this will be all filled out with all your pretty little information. And you're going to be able to use this information in the business plan as well as the annual cash budget. So in order to go ahead and use this, what we need to do is customize this for use in a beauty store or beauty supply organization. So what I would recommend first and foremost is unhide this, to go ahead and add an additional section down here. I call it an advanced section, but this is something you'd all have to type in unless you want to go ahead and hit me up for a little bit extra money, send me a message, I'd be able to do it for you. But doing an additional section that's labeled revenues and labor. So what we'll do is we'll start right here, and we're going to just go ahead and start filling in all this light blue areas. And as we fill in these light blue areas, this information right here for the profit and loss statement for the beauty supply company is going to fill in for us. So tax rate, I go with a standard 20%. Whatever you think your tax rate is going to be, go ahead and put it in there. The next line we have to fill in is going to be interest on loans. So whatever interest that you pay on a monthly basis on a loan, make sure to put it right here. I'm going to go ahead and just use an example of $300. The next thing what we need to do is we need to come up with the average sales price for our products. So the way that I would do that is I would set up a structure that looks similar to this, where it says revenues, and then just label the columns product, price, and variable cost. And then go ahead and just list the different products that you're going to sell. So the first step is to list the different products you're going to sell, and then come up with some prices, some average prices for each one. So for skincare, let's say it's going to be $25.99. Hair care, it'll be $19.99. Lipstick might be $7.99 on average. Eyeliner might be $12.99, again on average. And then other might be, we'll call it $8. Once we identify the prices, then we got to come up with some variable cost. So for this example right here, variable cost. So if we're selling eye care or skin care for $29.99, we're going to say that our variable cost is going to be $8.99. And then we're going to do the same thing for the haircut. If it's $19.99, we're going to say that our variable cost are going to be $9.99. This is how much we pay for it, and this is how much we're selling it for. Lipstick, it might be $2.99, and then eyeliner might be $5.99, and then $4 here. So once we have our prices lined up and our variable costs lined up, the next thing we're going to do is hit equal sum, open up a parenthesis, and highlight this information right here. Close the parenthesis and hit enter, and then we're going to highlight the cell again, go to the bottom right-hand corner, drag it across. And so now what we have is we've got a total sales price here and a total variable cost here. Now the next thing we need to do is get an average. So we're going to hit the equal sign, hit the total, And however many products that we have here, we're going to divide it by that. So we're going to hit the division sign. And since we've got 5 products here, we're going to divide it by 5. And then we're going to go ahead and move the decimal place to 2. So our average sales price is going to be $14.99. And we're going to do the same thing for variable cost. We'll hit the equal sign. We'll click on that. A division sign, divide it by 5. And we got the same thing. Now, once we have that calculated, we're going to go up here. We're going to hit the equal sign here in our average sales price. Go right next to it. And we're going to click on our average sales price and hit enter. The number of days per month, excuse me, the number of days worked per month. I'm sorry, the number of sales per day. So if we, so far what we're doing here is we expect our average sales price to be $14.99. So let's say we expect to sell 45 products a day. So we're going to go ahead and hit the 45 there. The next thing we need to do is identify how many days per month we're going to be open. So if we're a retailer, we're going to say we're open 30 days per month. This will give us our total revenues here. The next thing we need to do to complete this for the beauty supply store is to identify what our growth rate is going to be. So we're going to say that our growth rate is going to be 3% on a monthly basis. So we anticipate being able to increase our revenues about 3%. The next thing we need is a variable cost as a percentage. Well, we've got it as a dollar amount right here, but we need this as a percentage. So in order to do that, we're going to go into this next line, and it says VC as a percentage. We're going to hit the equal sign. We're going to click on our variable cost. We're going to divide that by our sales price, and that tells us that our variable cost is approximately 43% of the total sales price. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right up here to the blue. We're going to hit an equal sign, and we're going to then click on that 43% and hit enter. So now we've got our variable cost right here all plugged in. The next thing we need to do is we need to figure out our salary and labor. So in order to do that, I would set up another structure right here underneath. And on that structure, I would go ahead and label it employees, hours worked for the month, the rate of pay that you're going to pay them, and then we're going to total it up for the monthly amount that we're going to be paying them. So for the first line here is always salary. So we're going to say we're going to pay ourselves $2,500. The next thing is going to be sales. So for the employees, the way I've got it lined up is sales, stock, cashier. And so we're going to start with 3 employees. Employee 4 and 5, we're not going to worry about. We're just going with 3 employees. I've got 176 hours. The 176 hours is 40 hours times 4.333. 40, enter, 4.333 times. It gives it 173 hours. So I'm going to go with 174 hours instead. So we're going to go with 174 hours, which is a full time for each employee. And the salesperson, we're going to pay them $18. Stock, we're going to pay them $15. Cashier, we're going to pay them $15. So now we've got the we got the number of hours that they're going to work. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this and this and this. We don't need those. So we've got the number of hours worked for each person. We got the rate of pay. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and hit the equal sign. Multiply that 174 by $18. And now we've got the amount of money that we're going to pay each person for their services. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the cell for the sales. We're going to go to the bottom right-hand corner, and we're going to drag that down twice. And so now what we have is we've got a total amount that we're going to pay each person on a monthly basis. The final step that we're going to do, or actually the next step we're going to do, is we're going to hit an equal sign. We're going to type in sum, open up a parenthesis. We're going to highlight all of our employees' pays, totals, close the parenthesis, and hit enter. The final step is going to be for the total section right here. We're going to hit equal. We're then going to add the employee total plus the salary that we're going to pay ourselves. And that is our labor and salary section. So we'll go up here to the fixed cost. We'll hit an equal sign. We'll click on the total and hit enter. And that now populates the salary and labor. And so for the revenues, what happened here is once we plugged in these revenues and the variable costs, we put them in right here. Our revenues filled in, our variable costs filled in, and our gross profits fill in. Now that we've got our labor taken care of here, is labor is filled in here. The next thing we're going to do is going to head and estimate what our rent and utilities are going to be. So for rent and utilities, we're going to say it's going to be about $3,000. And then for advertising, we're going to say we're going to spend about $5,000. For legal and insurance, we're going to call that $450. And then for miscellaneous, we're going to call it $200. So the next step is going to be how much are our fixed costs going to grow on a monthly basis. In this estimate, we're going to say it's just 1%. So now once we have this information filled in, we're going to take a look at our net profits. Well, heck, we're running at a loss here, and that's just completely 100% unacceptable. So what that tells us is that we need to be able to sell more products on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis in order to justify our opening up shop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the number of sales per day, and we're going to have to say, instead of 45 sales per day, we're going to say it's going to be 50. Still that's not enough. So let's go up to 75. Now we're starting to run a profit here. So we're going to say, we're going to need 80 sales per day. So what this says is that we need to have 80 sales per day in order to make a profit at the end of the year of $38,200. We can also, now that we've got everything plugged in, we've got these two additional sections added, we can also start changing our sales price to see what's going to happen to our profits. For example, if we're not going to sell our skincare anymore for $25.99, we can bump that up to $29.99. And what that does is that brings it up to almost $60,000 a year. And we can start changing our sales prices here for our hair care, our skincare, our eyeliners, $14.99. And that immediately rolls into our profit and loss statement. And we're now able to see how much money we're going to have at the end of the year. And it also shows us what the net income is going to be for each month as we change the variable cost. If we want to cut down a salesperson's hours from 174 to part-time 86, we make that change. And then again, it changes our salary and labor, and we can also see what happens to it when we go ahead and for our net income for the year. If we don't want to take a salary, we make it 0. And again, that really bumps it up to $112,000 a year. So there's a lot of different things we can do once we have this customized for your beauty care organization. The next thing is going to be your cash budget. Now, the way that I've got this template set up is that once you've entered the information here, most of the information is going to roll over here. So what this cash budget is going to tell us is how much cash we are going to have at the end of every month. But in order to get this accurate, we have to go ahead and just do a couple of assumptions. The first assumption is cash sales per month. So usually for a beauty care company, if you use your credit cards, sometimes it takes about 4 to 5 days for them to go ahead and process that payment. It can take as much as 10 days for them to process the payment and to give you your money. So we're going to say that our cash sales are going to be, let's say we're going to be doing 50% cash sales. When we do that, then what happens here is it automatically says if we say we're doing 50% cash sales, then the other 50% is going to be credit sales. We're going to go ahead and expect that our credit sales are not going to be, we're not going to get the cash for our credit sales until the next month. So all of our revenues have been rolled over. And now what we have here is we've got our cash sales for the month and our credit sales for the next month. The next thing we need to know is what is our cash balance? What are we starting with money in the bank? Let's say it's $10,000. So once we put that, then the calculations are going to show that we've got revenues of approximately $38,000, and we can verify by going over here, and the revenues are $38,861, $38,861. However, we're only getting 50% of the sales this month, and the other 50% is not coming until next month. So now it's showing us what our cash position is going to be. So our cash receipts total is going to be $19,400. Based on the variable cost and the fixed cost that we did in the previous section, we're going to be kicking out approximately $33,000. When the next thing this is going to happen is my template is going to subtract the $33,000 from the $19,000. That gives us a net change of $13,828. If our beginning cash is $10,000, that's telling us our first month alone, we are going to be short. Our first month alone, we are going to be short $3,800. So in order to go ahead and mitigate this problem, instead of starting with $10,000, we're going to actually need to start with $14,000. So that is that's how this little cash budget is. This template works when you've got the annual cash budget and the profit and loss statement. Profit and loss statement is going to tell you how much money you're going to make for the year and at the end of each month. But the cash budget is going to show you how much cash you're actually going to have for each month. And from knowing that information, you are then able to go ahead and prepare financing in case you have some big expenditures coming down in the next 4 or 6 months. This is going to tell you what your cash position is going to be. So hopefully this information was helpful. And if y'all, like I said, you want to go ahead and pick up this. If y'all want to go ahead and pick up this handy dandy little template, just mosey on over to my website. But if you do want me to go ahead and assist, just pick up the phone, give me a call. My number is right here, and I'd be delighted to help. All right, and thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and have a fantastic day. Thank you.